Too cute, tiny bunny. Why does divorce happen?
Oh my gosh, actually.
Yeah. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Why does divorce happen? What do you think?
I think divorce happens because
We're going straight in. We're going straight in deep.
yeah.
This one starts deep. Okay, let's go.
I think because of a lack of communication, and also because people's needs aren't being met in the relationship, and instead of looking for ways to, solve that within the marriage, people look elsewhere to fulfill those needs. What do you think?
Well, I think there's some reasons for divorce, like someone's murdering your children one by one, and
What?
you need to leave with your remaining child. Like, there's crazy people out there. So there's like some, I think, legitimate reasons for divorce. Like, if your life is being threatened, that's probably not a healthy relationship to stay in. No, I think.
Excuse my hair, guys.
This is, we just got home.
The raw, uncut version of us.
Yeah!
Ian looks absolutely amazing as always, and I look like...
Thank you.
I look like...
You're like absolutely amazing, like always.
Mm.
Yeah, I think definitely lack of communication, but also I think people are just afraid to lay themselves on the table in the relationship. That's definitely something that I think a lot of guys deal with, is being, including myself, being closed off. And I think from the time we're a really young age, like I've seen some documentaries and stuff that kind of talk on that. And some of the stuff I was like, okay, this is good, but other stuff I was like, this is kind of a little far-fetched. But yeah, just I think guys are taught, and even in our like social circles and stuff, not to show emotion, and that like emotion is bad unless it's like anger or like hatred or revenge or things like that. It's just all that stuff that we get taught. It's like, yeah, you can totally show emotion in a football game because you can get super pumped, and I don't watch football, nor do I care about it, but or in Canada I guess it would be hockey. People go to a game and they're like, oh my gosh, yes, like, and they're super emotional. And guys, it's a total lie that, and for all you girls out there who, if you're in a relationship or if you're getting into a relationship and you guys are like, well, I'm just not emotional, like, that's total BS. Because when someone cuts you off in traffic, you definitely get emotional. And when your favorite player scores the winning touchdown or the winning goal or the winning basket, you definitely get emotional with all your buddies around, so that's total BS. But I think that girls are just better on an emotional spectrum. They just learn how to communicate better with each other and empathize and all that kind of stuff.
It's true.
Anyways, way off topic.
Long-winded answer.
I think that guys especially don't practice or learn how to empathize or show emotion or be vulnerable. I'm not saying you have to be vulnerable with everyone right away, because people need to earn that. Like, you don't just... That's one of the fallacies of when people are very emotional and very hard on their sleeve, is that they get hurt a lot, and it's unnecessary, because they don't actually guard their heart, and so they just show themselves and their vulnerability to everyone, and then they get hurt by people who haven't earned the right to be that deep in their life yet.
Yeah, I don't say earn the right, but...
I would. You have to show, like, people...
I don't think it's the right, I think it's trust. If you trust...
Yeah, you have to earn trust, though. Trust is earned over time.
So, but it's not like a right. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody has rights.
Yeah.
I'm gonna preach. No, I'm just kidding. Why people get divorced, I think, is because they don't sacrifice and
They're not willing to.
I don't even think it has to do with. I mean, eventually, each people's needs being met. I think that marriage is literally just laying your life down.
It is because, and that's what I meant when I said what I said about needs. When you die to self in marriage, you're literally saying that whatever it is that you think is more important for yourself, like you in your selfish ways, the way your single ways, is the reason why there's a divide. When you think about yourself constantly in your marriage and you never really take a moment to say, wait a second, like, how does my husband feel? What does he need from me? Like, you've obviously been put into each other's lives to help one another. Like, it's not I'm in it for myself kind of a thing. I mean, if you are, then I think you better check yourself. Because, I mean, that person loves you for you, and I hope it's the same for the, vice versa. And if that's the case, then you're willing to help that person and be there for them and fulfill those needs, even if it does come into conflict with some of the things that you want in your life, because more than anything, you want to be with that person. I mean, that's why you got married, I hope, right? So, yeah.
If you're gonna get married, you need to be getting married to someone who is always wanting to grow themselves without you.
But, to go off that, even if that person is struggling in that area, struggling and wanting to grow themselves, or even knowing where to start, where to begin, like, that for them is a process. You kind of have to, again, die to self. And realize that everyone learns differently, and that even though in some cases, like when, the infatuation stage is gone and like the honeymoon or whatever people want to call it isn't as, high as it used to be, like, it's really, again, comes all of this just comes down to choice. You're choosing to be with that person. And even though it's, you hear, like, the Hollywood explanation of marriage is, oh, I just love that person, like, I love you. But even though you choose them, you need them. Like, you don't realize it, but there's something in you, even though you could be the more rational person in the relationship, there's something in you that needs that person. And
if they're making you angry and there's tons of conflict, it's good for you. So stop trying to run away from it.
What are you saying?
Conflict is good.
What are you saying?
If you
make you angry?
You make me angry. No, anytime you put two single people together for a very long, extended period of time and they're married, then you're going to have conflict. But if you see conflict as a bad thing and you always run from it, then you'll never grow. You'll never grow together, you'll never change, and then you'll never get through it. And that's why people get divorced. And so, one of the things that I'm doing right now, because I feel like I struggle with, like, empathizing with Sherry and her emotions and validating those things, is I'm starting to read books on how to do that, because I'm not going to stay like this forever, and this is, like, learning how to communicate with everybody at all different levels will help, not just in my marriage, but in business and in dealing and communicating with other people and helping other people grow. So I'm starting to read, this is not a plug, we did not get anything for this, it's called Gifts of Imperfection by Brene Brown, recommended to be by my sister. And then I also bought Daring Greatly, which is by her, which I'll read after. But yeah, it'll be cool. You guys can stay tuned and see how the journey's going with that and what I'm learning and what we're both learning through the process. We're only 2 years in. We don't know a lot.
Yeah, and there's grace for that. Like, that's another thing. Like, I think it's so important to laugh at the little things, right? Not everything needs to be a fight.
Just not during the fight.
Just not exactly.
I learned that one the hard way.
But also that there's grace in the process. Like, it's meant to be difficult because you're giving a part of yourself.
Well, and nobody's going to be perfect right away.
Exactly. And
so don't expect
exactly.
marriage to be amazing. It's not going to be amazing every day.
It's meant to teach you, to challenge you, to grow you, and
to bring you closer to God, both of you.
Growth is sometimes painful, like we all know.
It's always painful.
Yeah.
There's no growth without
interjecting. Constant
interjection. I'm agreeing with you. We're on the same page.
But yeah, it's shown me what, the length that Ian's willing to go through in order to make changes, not because I'm telling him to change, not because I want him to be a certain way. He's chosen this himself, and he wants that, and that to me is that is as romantic as it gets.
To get sex. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's why we're in bed.
Are we allowed to talk about that? No, I'm just kidding. We won't talk about that on YouTube. We'll get fired. I don't know.
We're totally allowed to talk about sex on YouTube.
I have no idea.
But we just wanted to hop on here real quick. This was our video for the week. It's not super fancy with like lighting and us sitting in our living room, and
nope.
The reason it's like this is because I think personally I put a lot of pressure on myself to make sure things are perfect, and if they're not, then there's no point in doing it, and I get super agitated, and it stresses myself out, and I'm sure in some cases it may even stress me out a bit, and then you just lose sight on the purpose behind all of this.
Mm-hmm.
We want to bring light and be a light, and
we are light.
Yeah, and that's what this whole channel is about. So redirecting focus has been really important for me. This was super easy to do, to turn on my phone and sit here with my husband and record in my messy hair, in a tank top and unmentionables underneath, so I'm hiding it with a blanket, but this is life, and I'm so fortunate, so blessed to have this, and
you guys,
and you, yeah,
we're happy to have you guys.
So thank you for you. I will be sending these thank you cards this week, so the first 5 comments, you know who you are. I'll be contacting you.
You know who you is.
Directly messaging you, and to get your mailing address so I can send you a thank you letter in the mail. But again, thank you to everyone who commented and contributed your ideas for video.
Sorry, Benny. Running around, what are you doing?
You look so weird right now, honey.
Okay, we need to end the video, it's getting long.
Thank you for everyone who sent us a comment and your ideas and your advice. We super appreciate
We wrote them all down.
Yep, and you'll definitely be seeing a lot of them.
This was one of them.
Yeah.
This was one of the
ideas.
Was
it? Mm-hmm. Really?
Talk about relationship conflicts and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and just so you know, Ian and I, when we got married, in our vows, if you haven't watched our wedding video, it was written, we both said it, we will never divorce each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, something we said.
I don't care how skinny you get.
What?
I'm not divorcing you.
Something we said that we came into agreement, not only with each other, but with God. We said, this is for real. Like, we want to be committed, so we're going to stay committed. And when you make each other accountable that way, and God sees it, He'll honor it.
And it brings you security too.
Absolutely.
But we can talk about that in another video.
Yeah, this one's really long now.
So long! We might have to break it into 2. We love you guys.
See you next Monday.
Bye!
Bye.